I mean, do I even have to explain myself here? Rocky does absolutely nothing every season he's in, especially this one. A character being cute is not a valid reason to like them. The only decent episode he had this season was BFDIA 13, and even then, he did barely nothing. This is about as low as you can get with a character like him. Sorry, Rocky fans. Now I know I'm probably gonna get flamed for this, but name one memorable thing Teardrop did in BFDIA. Nothing. She is boring, and honestly, just has nothing going for her this season. I will cut her some slack since she did do some stuff in BFDIA 14, but besides that, she was borderline boring and forgettable. This is her worst season yet. But hey, maybe in the future, since we're seeing more of the LOL members, she do more stuff, but for now she stays here. Dora is actually getting better this season as of recently. BFDA 13 and 14 gave her funny moments. I genuinely think if they keep this up with her, she can move up to my neutral section. But of course, she's still kind of bland and mysterious, and I really didn't like her performance this season, so she stays in dislike for now. Her eating islands thing is weird but funny, so I'll also give her that as a pro to her character. I can already smell the comments from a mile away, but before you go raging, let me explain why I dislike her first. Ruby has always been that character that is kind of just there to be a comic relief, but honestly, the way Jack and Jellify execute it is not really that good. She can be annoying, irrational, and sometimes a bit of a dick. Comic relief characters are supposed to make you laugh. She does not make me laugh, nor does she make me feel any sort of relief. Also, her 35 sisters thing is already getting boring and old. At first I was skeptical, but now it's just unfunny and stupid. Not to mention, Ruby is sort of a bad friend to her allies sometimes. She sometimes kills them and even threatens to do things to them if they mess up. She's just not a good character in my eyes, but she's not the worst either. I'll be honest with you, Match was quite annoying and useless this season. She never did anything to help her team. She stayed in the game for extra episodes unfairly, and didn't help crank the HPHPRCC. She's also still pretty rude towards people for no reason, and literally didn't care that Gelatin sacrificed himself for her. She's just selfless and annoying this season, but she gets a bit better as time goes on, so she stays here on the list. Pencil is the same as Match almost. Pretty annoying and selfish. However, she is higher because she has gotten more screen time, and I'll be fair and say she was pretty good in BFDIA through 10. Other than that, she's either been annoying or just a dick. She also treats Needle poorly, who is actually trying to be a loyal team member to her, even making her old team lose just to be promoted to a member of the Alliance. She's taking this for granted, and I hope BFDIA 14 was Pencil's wake-up call. However, she is not as bad in future seasons, just like Match, so she isn't the worst character here. I'll admit, Donut was sorta rough at the beginning, but episodes 13 and 14 are starting to show his BFB self. He was genuinely not bad in BFDIA 14, and I think that he's become more tolerable and mature. If we see more of this version of Donut, I think I might move him up to like, because Donut is really good in future seasons, and I'm curious as to how his attitude improved over the years. Book honestly isn't that bad considering she's a free smarter. If you don't know, I don't really like most of the people that are on the free smart team. I genuinely think she's a pretty decent character. However, she is a bit boring this season and doesn't really have anything interesting going on. But she does have her moments, like in BFDIA 9 with the trash compactor. I think they should give her something plot line wise. If they do, I might consider moving her up to the like section. For now, she stays here. I know a lot of people dislike Ice Cube, but this season she was actually pretty good after pre-hiatus. She became more helpful, funny, and resourceful for her team and thought with strategy. She used to be in the most bottom tier for me because of how bland and useless she was. But she turned from just a recycled line boring character to a well-developed, useful character. I overall think BFDIA saved her from being completely boring. I do think she's not as great as others though, which is why she's at the bottom of like for me. Puffball is pretty funny and entertaining, even if she can be selfish sometimes. I think that she had potential to cause drama if she stayed after BFDIA 6, but unfortunately she did sabotage her own team. I feel like she had a lot of missed potential that could have been used if she stayed longer. She seems like she would make a good villain or antagonist for the other teams. Overall, she's just a good character. Tennis Ball is a pretty good character as in terms of friendships and personality. I feel like now that Golf Ball is out in BFDIA, he can prove himself to be a good character on his own. He also has other interesting friendships like his one with Gelatin and Nickel. I think that if they continue the friendship with Nickel, it could add on to TB improving without Golf Ball around him. Tennis Ball has a lot of future potential in BFDIA and I want to see him thrive as his own character. I know a lot of people hate him in BFDIA, but honestly, he's pretty funny racism aside. His commercials never get old, he makes the game interesting, and his last moments with Purple Face were pretty funny. He's pretty entertaining as well, not to mention, he also helps his team in a lot of ways. For example, while I do find using teammates to win challenges not cool, it was pretty smart of him to do that with Bombi. Overall, he's just a funny and entertaining character. It's a shame he got out so early though. I don't care what anyone says. My boy Spongy deserves more respect. He's funny, entertaining, and in his own way he's very useful at challenges. However, as much as he does help in this way, I don't like him being used as a challenge tool. People don't realize how disrespected he is despite being such a cool and great character. Any roasts or insults he has against people are definitely justifiable, especially against Coiny. As someone who used to be my favorite character, he's still amazing. Nickel always manages to entertain me and make me laugh when he's on screen. Nickel has so many good friendships as well, like I said earlier with Tennis Ball. He also has a good friendship with Bombi as well. I think Nickel deserves more credit for being such a good friend too. Golf Ball is kinda that one character you just can't hate. She's funny, reliable, and despite being bossy, she's actually decent at leading her teams. What I do not appreciate, however, is the fact Jack and Jellify let her stay to a tree for 3 episodes straight, with little to no screen time whatsoever. She could have had so much done in those 3 episodes and could have potentially made it to the final 10. I think Golf Ball deserves more credit for also being pretty loyal. Despite having one other member, she stayed on Team No Name the longest along with TB. This shows how dedicated she is to being loyal to her team. Overall, she's a pretty great character. Sad she got out though. For the amount of disrespect Pin got this season, she managed to stay consistent with being a great character despite not even being able to do anything for a solid 4 episodes. Pin had the best comeback in BFDIA 14 that I think I've ever seen managed in an object show. I think she was deserving of getting her revenge on Freeze Mart. She proved herself to be worthy of making it further this episode. Pin overall is a very great and badass character who I am excited to finally see get the respect she earns in the game. Coiny is even more badass. This guy carries his team almost every episode and manages to be a good leader. He never gave up on Pin and was one of the few contestants who never bullied her. He's loyal and compassionate with what he does. He always gets a good amount of screen time too. Not too much to take up others, but also not too little to where he's boring. I think he's overall deserving of making it to at least the final 5. And now that Pin is back, I'm also glad we get to see their friendship back in action. I always loved it, honestly. You want to talk about perfectly developed? Needle is the example of that. She started off boring, honestly kind of just a filler character, to a pretty interesting and enjoyable character. She did betray her old team, which was a bit scummy, but she makes up for it for making Freezemart slightly more tolerable. Needle overall has so much potential, and I think BFDIA 14 proved she can be a valuable teammate and character. Definitely top tier for me. I have never hated Fiery. He's always just such an amazing and interesting character. This season was one of, if not his best one. He managed to be funny and have great friendships in the game like Gelatin. Just because a character is a winner does not mean they are bad. He is amazing and always will be. He even recovered Leafy despite her stealing his prize. He's just hard to hate in my opinion. I hope we get to see more of the WTF members in future episodes, as I think BFDIA 13 made them interesting and entertaining to watch. Gelatin is one of those characters you can't hate. He's Ruby, but done way better. He's always been the most funny and entertaining no-namer in my opinion. He is loyal and pretty smart despite being dumb at the same time. I also think he was the best WTF member in BFDIA 13, mainly because he had the most memorable moments in the episode. He also has a hilarious friendship with Fiery, as I mentioned earlier. They're like two siblings who fight, but then get along after they do. It's just perfect. Fries as a character is just amazing. I love how he always wants to be on a solo team, and the fact that he does so well on his own. I think that his rivalries with others are also pretty funny and great. The way they always try to find a way to mess him up, but they fail. Fries is just him. What else can I say here? Overall, Fries is just an amazing and skillful contestant who I want to make to the finale alongside Bombi. Bombi easily takes the cake for being the best character in my honest opinion. He stays loyal to his team. He always thinks strategically and uses common sense when he has to. Some may say he was a dick for using Pin to try and get Fries, but there's an issue with that. How was Bombi supposed to know Pin was gonna die and that Fries was going to live? He is misunderstood and easily takes the cake for best character in my opinion. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video. See you next time.